October 2nd, 1979. What is the witness? Is it the mind or is something beyond the mind? It is the knower of the mind. If I say I am, is that the mind? Beingness expresses through the mind with the words, I am. In the books translated by Mr. Friedman, the words destiny and justice are used. Are these the same as karma? Justice is the decision given. Destiny is the storehouse out of which all this manifestation flows. It is the principle out of which you have emanated. It is something like the negative of a film. Consciousness is already present in that source from which you have emanated. So the being is projected. What is to be projected is already recorded. So whatever activities happen through that beingness, which is you, are your destiny. Every action or every step which that beingness will take is already registered in the film. Do the stars show that negative, as some astrologers claim? It is a direct perjury. 9 months prior to your birth, the destiny was created. By whom? Nobody. It just happens. The negative exists before the destiny starts. Where's the negative printed? That is the skill of Mula Maya, primary illusion. Some people believe that as they sow, so shall they reap, so that somewhere before they have sown the structure of the negative. That is only hearsay. Do you have evidence of it? No. Maya is the primary source of illusion. At that point, love for the self begins. I am the love to be. Its expression is all this manifestation. Why do some people have more love for this false self than others? There is no question of one loving more than another. The state of love is present, and you have to enjoy or suffer it. Even when we suffer, we love our beingness. When you practice witnessing, is it consciously? What do you mean by practicing witnessing? What you are trying to do is intensify your own beingness. Witnessing will happen automatically, but the self must open up. Prior to witnessing, you are. Maharaj said to quiet down, but my lifestyle makes it difficult to be quiet. My job has a lot of pressure and activity. Does Maharaj recommend getting a different job? I don't say do this or that. Do what you like. But just know that you are not the doer. It is just happening. The destiny that has come into existence on the first day of conception is unfolding itself. There is nothing that you can claim the doership of. Once you know who you are, that destiny does not bind you. What do people who die do to realize that they don't have a body? Nothing happens. Nobody is dead. The texts say that those who die with undissolved concepts will be reborn. When they are reborn, do they have choices of different bodies, such as going into family A or family B? Why do you bother yourself with such extraneous matters? Concentrate on convincing yourself that you are not the body. This body is made of the 5 elements and is really a food body. You have no part in it. You are not concerned with this food body. Strength, the breath, and the beingness are dependent on food and water. Without food and water, that I amness is absent. Then does the I amness come back again later? You are none of these things. There is no question of rebirth. It seems that something called food is hanging around in the air. You can make a body out of it, and if you have some wrong concepts, you'll land in that food body. Actually, implicit in the teaching, it seems to me, is that there really isn't such a thing as food and a food body. That's only a concept. From what level are you talking now? Now, do you understand that the body is not there, that it comes from the mind? I'm getting that from what Maharaj says in the book. Have you realized it? If I had realized it, I would be a Yanni. Exactly. Until then, the body is born the way everybody is born. Is the way things are for us now that we have a concept of a body which we should accept and not create another concept? That there is not a body? Go to the source. Who knows that there is a body? Something is prior to the creation of the body. Do all the efforts that we make in this regard have any effect in destroying the sense of I am, or is that part of the film? So the effort that people think they are making to reach the goal has no effect. It is just all contained in that film. Be in that source, which is the light behind consciousness. You are not the consciousness. Understand that. What is happening is in the Mula Maya. The cassette records what I am saying, but whatever is recorded in the cassette is not me, just as the original voice is not in the cassette. So you are separate from the chemical, the body, the I amness, the consciousness. Is the realization in the film? It cannot be in the film because you are the knower of the film. Now ponder whatever you have heard and come back. That mind is only an accumulation of the thoughts that are present in the manifestation. All your activities depend on the mind, and mind depends on all your memories and whatever you have heard in this world. We are absorbing whatever happens in this world, and we are also looking at it from our own point of view, putting our own concepts on those things. And because this body-mind consciousness absorbs all that happens in the world, we go on crediting this I am consciousness with previous birth, karma, etc. You accept certain things as good and virtuous, and reject others as bad or sinful. But these are only concepts you have acquired in the world, and there is no basis for the distinction. Yesterday, Maharaj spoke of the chakras, centers of psychic energy in the body, and the Brahmarandra. I wondered if we should be concerned with them in our meditation. Forget about chakras. Catch hold of the knowledge I am and become one with it. This is meditation. Who is to catch hold of the I am? Who is asking this question? Are we not able to go beyond our thoughts or in the absolute? Are the thoughts just part of the film? And if they are, do we just have to bear with them? Who wants to go beyond thought? Who is he? Before consciousness appears in the waking state, that is the absolute. As soon as the consciousness appears, the thoughts come. You do not have to bear with them nor discard them. Simply know them. All the other things that determine who you call the original, those things do not exist. But that is only when you reach that original state, when you are a Yanni. We are already that. If you knew it, there would be no questions, and you would not be here. October 3rd, 1979. The film which Maharaj was speaking of yesterday. I was wondering, when we inquire, who am I? The answer is the idea of whatever is going on in the film. That is, who am I? And who is doing this are linked together in the film. Is this correct? Ever since the beingness has appeared on you, whatever is being done through the knowledge is entirely the result of the 5 elements working through you and through whatever knowledge of I am you have received out of those elements. I am is prior to the knowledge I am, but that which is working through the knowledge, at the moment that personality which you have taken to yourself, is the result of the essence of the food, which comes out of the 5 elements. Unless you are absolutely quiet and stabilize yourself in the knowledge I am, this result of the worldly activities will get separated from I am. You must stabilize there first. Is the witness part of the film witnessing part of the film? As soon as the I am appears on you when you awake, that is the witness. But after that moment, the whole manifestation comes within the view of the I am, and he witnesses the whole manifestation. After deep sleep, as soon as the consciousness dawns on you of I am, that is the witness. Before that moment, you did not know that you are. There was no witness, no knowledge of I am. You got the evidence that you are as soon as the consciousness appeared on you. But as soon as the evidence was received, that consciousness took hold of the body. As soon as that I am caught hold of the body, he had to behave through whatever thoughts were appearing in this manifestation. We call it disposition, or mind. Is I am the primary concept? what is actually doing the witnessing, or is that witnessing an aspect, like impersonal witnessing? Consciousness is to me or to you an individual body. I say that I am consciousness. You say that you are consciousness. So apart from consciousness, there is a principle which is aware of that consciousness. So it is the original state which is the witness of the consciousness. But that is not a personal thing. In the original condition, Maharaj says that witnessing requires no effort. It automatically happens. Whatever is the consciousness. That is all the capital we have. Once this consciousness is made clean of everything, you automatically reach the original state. But if you want to know what that state is, all this knowledge will be there. Because to know what your original state is, you must understand. And you must give up this self-identification with the body and be convinced that you have no form or name. That is all that is to be done. So long as you identify with the body-mind, you are conditioned. Once you stabilize in the knowledge I am unconditionally, you are the manifest I amness, no more an individual. In the manifest state of I amness, there is no question of your doing, because you are no more an individual. Whatever happens, happens in your consciousness. Whatever happens through this, you also know it will happen, but there is no question of doing or being anything. Out of the rainwater, good and bad things grow. No sin is attributed to the rainwater for the growth of bad things, and no merit for the growth of good things. Where is the question of rebirth for the rainwater? And where is the sin or merit for the rainwater? The I and the I am without words are not the I that we think of. Prior to naming it, you know you are. At that stage, everything is yourself, including the dirt and the sun and the moon. That is the self. All are your manifestation, but you are still beyond that. One step higher now. Consciousness means this world, this manifestation. I amness, beingness. This consciousness has all color. It is ample, plenteous, infinite. I, the Absolute, am not the earth, fire, the water, the air, nor the space. I am unblemished, untouched by anything. But if we consider I as I amness, the beingness, then all this manifestation is myself. And in this manifest I amness, I also am untouched by any sin or merit. I would like to know why conception is more important than any other moment for determining the future. Conception is the time when unknowingly, spontaneously, the photograph of the parents is taken, besides the world situation at that moment. Tibetan Buddhism holds that it is not until maybe the 3rd or 4th month that the soul enters the womb. What is the womb? It is not my idea, I am just repeating it. All this manifest world is a combination of the 5 elements. We are in the elements. We are a part of the elements. All the play goes on in the elements. When were the elements born? At that moment, there was no time. You can't win. Don't try. Who conceived the elements, whether in time or out? That primary concept, Mula Maya, the source of illusion. Who conceived all these houses and buildings? The mental concept. October 5th, 1979. Does the quality of your relationship with another person depend only on you or on both persons? It depends on both. It is entirely the identity with the body that makes you feel there are two. Do the flowers have relationships? They also have the essence of the elements in them, and that knowledge of beingness is the essence of the elements. If you water them, they are pleased, and they bloom. But if you don't water them, they are displeased and angry. But we can speak while they don't have the power of speech. I'd like to know the meaning of language. Why do we talk and the flowers do not? You will not know even if they are talking among themselves. What is the meaning of our language, then? Our words create chaos, but whatever meaning they have is only momentary. It has no lasting meaning. Small children don't speak. That's why their behavior is better than yours. The kind of relationship we have with children is very different from what we have with grown-up people, because children are so innocent. You can take anybody's child and fondle it. It's a pity that first they have to learn to talk and later learn not to talk. Learning to talk is done for the child's well-being. You shape the child as something is shaped from gold. Sometimes the labor charges for molding a piece of gold are more than the value of the product. I would like to know about artists. How does it happen that some person creates? It is the quality of that great knowledge I am that creates. Can you be an artist if you are not free from the body-mind concept? It is innate to the artist that we are in the body. The body is the support of that beingness. The moment that beingness was planted, the formation of this body was taking place. The world is created for it. In the womb, that knowingness is ignorant of its existence. The I am is not present, but the I am principle is started there. All things happen unknowingly, but even to understand that is very difficult. It is beyond our comprehension. Does one become nothing? In your nothingness, you are perfect, you are total, and in your knowingness, you are imperfect. One should give up one's self-importance then. Just understand that there is no self-importance at all. Realize that you have done nothing all along. When you identify with the body-mind, you become separate. You are not one with anybody. When you are the I amness, you are everything. To help you to understand, various concepts are given, like Prakriti and Purusa, but actually there is nothing. Even such concepts form a trap. The first trap is the love to be. Is the eternal of the absolute the eternal of the relative? The absolute is permanent. Illusion is impermanent. Has it ever been pure absolute without the impermanent change? The absolute is always. When we talk about the coexistence of the absolute and Maya, there is no question of time. The absolute is not time-bound. Beyond illusion, there is no such thing as time. You cannot think whether the absolute was without illusion because time does not exist there at all. It is not even 100,000ths of a second that this illusion is born, while scientists talk of this world's billions of years. When I think of the absolute as the ocean, the waves are not the ocean, but they are still there. That's why the question came up. You are not to study objectivity. The ocean and this body, the illusion. You have to understand yourself. If you have dived deep into the sea, where are the waves? When you come out of the ocean, the waves appear. When you have no feeling of happiness or misery and no feeling of I amness, you are in the state of nirguna. Recede back prior to the thoughts. October 6th, 1979. How do you know which is the first film? The first film is when the knowingness appears on you. In that knowledge I am, all is contained. But what I meant is that you are born and then you die. I want to know if we now have the memory of that. According to your own knowledge, is this knowingness which appeared on you the first or some other number? For me, it is the first. That is all you have to take for granted. Just throw out whatever you have heard or read. Tell me only what is from your own experience. There was a person who said that he had known me for the last 11 births. I told him, this is your concept. I do not know you. I have no faith in anything unless I have experienced it myself. There is violence everywhere, wars and all kinds of horrors. You long to be separate from it, and at the same time you are one with it. Nobody has been able to change that Maya. Just observe without accepting or rejecting. The solution can only be when you abide in yourself. Investigate how you happen to be. Because I was created by my parents. Only in that when the film started, knowing itself, I am. Then you came to know all this. Did you know anything before? There was nothing. Exactly. That you have to understand. Direct your questioning to who am I and what am I? A man was in the habit of drinking tea every morning at 5 o'clock. Unfortunately, the principal left the body at 3. Will that dead body demand tea at 5 o'clock? You don't touch areas which you should ponder, but you want to know all about other areas that are just a passing phase. Should we not change in order to get this knowledge? You are not the one who changes. What changes is your mind, your intellect, and your body. When you come here and listen, you will be inspired to think within. Later on, your nature changes. Hearing is most important. And by hearing these wise words, gradually the mind will change. That knowledge I am is born out of love, but the illusion has taken such hold of it that love for the I amness has gone into the background. To stay with it has become increasingly difficult. Without the manifestation, the love was total. Is the I am identical with consciousness? Yes, but that I amness will be present only so long as the fuel lasts. The fuel ultimately must be love. Yes, that love is all-pervading. These flowers are an expression of my love. The blooming of flowers is not an individual's expression of love, but a universal expression of love. How did the movement start? There is no reason, no cause, no purpose. It is spontaneously happening. Is Maya from the point of the first movement or from the point where form is created? Everything is contained in the consciousness, the whole show. Even the appearance of the illusion itself? Yes, everything is illusion. Your conviction that you are born is an illusion. Who is the victim of the illusion and who will be free of it? The knowledge that you are is the victim, and that is going to be liberated. A farmer sows the seeds and gets the produce. He creates and he consumes. Illusion or Maya or Brahma are all your names. Who is liberated and who is bound? You only. October 9th, 1979. When I sit in meditation, there is very little thought activity, just an awareness, a very calm state of mind. Is this state something to do with going toward I amness, or is it just another state in consciousness? That calmness is when your beingness is resting. As you have come to India but have not forgotten that you are Australian, so likewise you should not forget what you are. Are you convinced in that fashion? Intellectually, yes. Don't talk of the intellect. Are you convinced? You know that you are not the body, not the mind, and not the name given to you by someone else. You are consciousness and it has no form. You are a man because you identify with your body. If you do not identify with the body, what sex are you? After leaving the body, the vital breath and the I am merge into the substratum. Then where is man or a woman? Should one meditate on this? Meditation is very necessary. During meditation, you must hold on to this concept that I am not the body-mind. I am the self-effulgent knowledge only. What is samadhi? Satisfaction. When you obtain your objective, you feel satisfied. You want to attain a profit, and when you do, you feel satisfied. Samadhi is of no help in understanding the self. The state of satisfaction in samadhi is the self. When you did not have the body, complete satisfaction existed. Is the satisfaction of samadhi total satisfaction? It is an objective satisfaction that the food essence quality is there. That knowingness, which is a quality of the food essence, subsided into satisfaction. All the sages say to worship your own self, but the people do not understand. They worship Rama or Krishna, etc. But in the process of worshiping all these gods, yourself sprouts. Having listened to the talk of the sages, the person will start focusing on the self. He can carry on all his normal duties, but his attention will be directed to the self. He will not be involved in anything. In this process, gradually he will attain the highest, the absolute. Take full advantage of a Yanni, a guru, or a sage that you meet, but understand what you are. Stabilize in the self. Because of our ignorance, all along we have depended on the mind. Mind was our guru. Mind was directing and guiding us. Now I have understood that mind is not me. Mind is apart from me. In this process, I am apart from the body-mind. If tomorrow my body should quit, nothing will happen to me. What should one's attitude be when listening to the guru? One should be very receptive, loving, and humble, and surrender completely to the guru. How long should one stay with the guru? You have to stay with yourself. Self is the guru. The faith in the words of the guru should be a living faith. Thoughts may come and go, but the faith should not be disturbed. You should abide in the I amness. When you do that, you are one with the manifest guru. Satguru is the one who watches the appearance and disappearance of this guru, I amness. When we abide in the Absolute, that is Satguru. Initially, you do require a person who is a Satguru. Those who have the urge to know the truth will necessarily come across such a Satguru. In my original true state, I have no form and no thoughts. I didn't know I was, but suddenly another state appeared in which I had a form and thought. I am. How did this appear? The one who explains how these appearances have come about is the Satguru. October 13th, 1979. Do not be bound by imagination or ideas. Keep aloof of them. Let everything happen according to its own nature. Just as you are bound not by the body-mind sense, you are also bound by the relationships in this objective world. And that binding is very serious indeed. The true perspective of the self within is the freedom that is yours. The self that is within is all the emptiness of the sky. Through the consciousness which has appeared on you, you view this objective world. With the knowledge that you are awake, you find that the world is filled with all the objective pictures which are within you. In deep sleep, there are no pictures, no objective sights at all. There is no cause for the creation of this objective world. It has come spontaneously. There was no action on anyone's part. That consciousness itself will tell the one aware of it that it is all you see. It is very difficult to understand this. The one who has realized that the consciousness is being witnessed by the universal consciousness has reached the ultimate. But the majority of people are wrapped up in the manifested knowledge that I am. The world is within me. I am not within the world. Bhagavan, God, is the light which is the manifest world. I have realized that light, but I am not bound by it. I am not in it. That is the state from which the manifestation is observed. Is what a God state is the borderline, the beginning of nirguna, from being to no being, of entering the absolute field from where witnessing of this manifestation occurs. That is the beginning of the absolute. It is not I amness. The absolute cannot talk, but this talk relates to that only. I have no method to pursue this truth. At the most, I will tell you to purify your vital breath. You will be asked to follow a meditation on Nama Mantra. That's all. All other things are spontaneous. What is the meaning of the recitation of the Nama? It is the primordial music. Sing this melody of name mantra. In the process, one loses oneself and all the mischievous thoughts disappear. Since this manifestation is myself, can I bring about certain improvements in it? When you cling to the body-mind, you become separate from the manifest world and you see different entities. In that state, you will have all kinds of desires to improve yourself or somebody else. The next state is I amness, in which every action is myself. Every manifest thing is myself. In that state, there is no question of improving. You are just manifestation. I am everything. Next is the Unborn State, where there is no beingness to understand I am. That is the highest state. The moment I start calling myself a sannyasi, I start conditioning myself. I must have matted hair. I must beg for food. I must not eat this, etc. So I have not taken any pose. When food is served, whatever this body relishes, I eat. Whatever it doesn't, I leave. Not that this is good and this is bad, nothing of the sort. Your first step is beingness. Embrace the knowledge. I am. Be that. I am trying to speak of my most intimate secrets. Just as the dream world, uncalled for, has appeared and you observe it, similarly this world, uncalled for, has appeared and you are compelled to observe it. Just observe. Spontaneously, unknowingly, your beingness has appeared. Knowingly you don't know, now I am going to be. Only after the formation of I amness do you know I am. Can I carry out normal household duties? Carry them out with all enthusiasm, but understand what I have told you. If you really understand this, remember it and ponder it. No special meditation is needed. The vital breath is the cause of the mind flow. It is occupied continuously except during sleep. Ostensibly, we might be performing a ritual, reciting hymns loudly, thinking that we are performing some spiritual action. But the mind is not concentrated on that hymn, etc. It is thinking of something else. When someone is totally enjoying what he is doing, there is no sense of I. The beingness is fully absorbed in that mind inclination, but that no being state only witnesses it. Meditate on that principle by which you know you are and the world is. That is the very source of this manifest world. All actions are carried out by the vital breath. The language of the vital breath is called the mind. The recitation of mantra or japa is carried out by the vital breath. And this beingness is mere witness of the actions of the vital breath. The message I am is just a witness. The vital breath stimulates all activities. The support of these two entities is the food body, the food essence. The knowledge I am is the film, the destiny. Finally, what is our destiny? It is that birth chemical, that in which everything is recorded and everything is happening. Where are you in this? I amness is a chemical in which everything that is going to happen is recorded. When this is realized, you will understand that you are not an individual. October 14th, 1979. Have you people been moving about India together? Yes, some of us have been studying Hatha Yoga, and we have also been to Sri Ramana Ashram for meditation. Moving in pairs or groups is for entertainment. The real quest is solitary. If you want to master Hatha Yoga, you must go someplace. For meditation, go back to Ramana Ashram. It is a nice place. Here we have Jnana Yoga, not Hatha Yoga. But does it not help to learn to control the mind? It is only when the Atman is present that there is mind. Maya is the language of the Atman. Is the Atman the thinker? Atman is the observer. The mind and the prana are only activators. They do become one. Because you consider yourself to be a body, you think them to be separate. What about karmic knowledge? All the energy that you have is karma, but it is not the Atman. Man is always an incarnation of something he doesn't know. It is only the food body. It is only because of the mind and body consciousness that these concepts come up. Are mind and the self different? They are one. What is death? Only the fear of death is present, but not actual experience of death. Just as you do not have the experience of birth, you do not have the experience of death, only the fear of death. What is the experience of death? It is rest. Do we have the experience of dying? Not of death. At the most, you see a dead body lying there, and you are watching here. When I try to find out who I am, I cannot stay long without other thoughts intruding. Who knows the thoughts? I do. Since you know the thoughts, you are not the thoughts. If the principle was not present, who could have the thoughts? Can one be free from thought but have insight at the same time? Who wants to be free from thought and have insight into something else? Who is this I? You are prior to the thought. You have to go back to the source. When you ponder on these talks, it could be called meditation. But in actual meditation, you should meditate on the meditator, contemplate the contemplator. When you do so, you will know who you are. You will realize it without consulting anybody. In worldly life, as well as in spiritual pursuit, you always want to consult somebody. In our normal, worldly daily life, is it possible that our I-amness could merge in the Absolute? It is not possible. That is why all these great incarnations have taken Maha Samadhi. Maha Samadhi means the beingness was merged into the Absolute. By doing Hatha Yoga, I can concentrate much better. My body feels lighter. I feel that it is good for me, that I need to do it. Until you know yourself, you will not know what you need or do not need. Whatever you do until that moment when you know yourself is useless. You know that the body is going to be left. Who is going to leave that body? Think of that. Does it mean that this identification is an obstacle? Yes, it is only the concept that is the obstacle. How did we get this concept? The child gets his first instructions from the mother, beginning with, we are the parents. You are the son. This is how you should behave, etc. Until then, his needs were only physical, and he did not know anything about himself. Later on, he gets instructions from his teachers in school, others in his family, etc. Whatever he comes to know is what he has been told by others. The individual accepts and discusses various concepts with others, but hardly anyone gives any thought to that principle which is always present, which recognizes all this. This knowledge is the earliest, the base of all concepts. Knowledge is merely a name given to it. It has no name and no form. That is the source of all perception. It has no need of peace and quietude because it is itself peace and quietude. In this principle of basic quietude, without duality, no change occurs at any time. This basic principle is beyond any state. Whatever one perceives through the senses can only be a movement in consciousness, which is present when the states of waking and sleep are present. Whatever transpires in these states can only be temporary. Consciousness is itself God, and that beingness or consciousness is the only thing by which is divulged to one the secret of all manifestation, all creation. Nothing else will so divulge. All else is a concept. Until this basic principle, this basic knowledge of beingness or consciousness divulges its own secret to you and you are intimate with it, whatever knowledge you have can only be based on concepts and is untrue. And even this basic principle, which is the source of all knowledge, is time-bound. This consciousness not only brings to you the knowledge of your own existence, but also the knowledge of the world. And when this knowledge disappears, with the disappearance of the body, there is no knowledge of oneself or the world. The secret knowledge of how I came into being, without any effort, will be divulged only by this conscious beingness. Any guru who gives you spiritual knowledge can base that knowledge only on his own concept, which he considers as truth. The concept may be excellent, still it is a concept, and whatever you try to understand through it is not going to be permanent. It is amazing that I am expounding this knowledge through this seed. Great yogis and munis who are doing penance are not able to receive it because they are holding on to certain ideas, hoping to acquire something very great. Although ostensibly they are doing penance for the sake of self-realization, in the process they are very happy with what they acquire, and they stabilize there. Now I have understood what you have said, and I am going to study this. What do you mean by study? That means you are only trying to remember the concepts. What I am saying is that you must become concept-free. Put the X to the concepts, including the concept, I am. Are there any efforts required to eliminate the concepts so that we can know the truth, or does it happen by itself? It is spontaneous. The very concept that I woke up is the root of illusion. So there is to be no effort, just accept it as it is. 1 in a million will accept this. Others want to gain something. How do we get out of the mind flow? These mind things are flowing in me also, out of the vital breath, but I don't accept them. The moment an ignorant person receives an impression, he puts it to the credit of his account. He registers it in his diary. October 21st, 1979. This knowledge I am has appeared out of love, and that love comes out in existence. When this knowledge has dawned on the self, it is absolutely happy. But after the child is 2 or 3 years old, gradually he gets involved in I and mine, and he gradually loses hold of the joy that I am. The result of all this involvement is that he comes to the conclusion that he was born and is going to die. This knowledge has appeared to you, and you are charged with many sins and births. The accused is standing in the dock and has been sentenced to 25 years of rigorous imprisonment and death by hanging at the 26th year, and he is pleading guilty. Examine yourself thoroughly. Are you a body-mind? Were you born? Who are you? What are you? Find out for yourself. Before you were born, there was nothing. There was no idea that you were taking a form. This form came to your knowledge only after your mother introduced you to yourself. After passing this examination, the result will be that no idea of death will appear to you. What is this knowledge, knowingness? This knowledge is the essence of the food that has been assimilated by the body. It is as material as the body, and it will disappear, even as this will be extinguished. If we want to live during the next month, is it not necessary that we feed our body? Suppose you have some stale food. If you put it aside, it will become sour, and in due course worms and insects will form therein. Is it not the food which is giving life to those worms and insects? What does it indicate? The life force which expressed in that insect is the food essence. The life-giving force is in the food essence, and the food essence is itself its own food. So far, if it were to hang in the air right here and not get any farther, what Maharaj said gave the impression that something like a magnetic field involved with food organizes into an I am. In other words, he has set up a reality of food which contains in it a field that constitutes an I am. I don't think that is what he is trying to get across, but it sounds like that. What is that body? Out of the elements, the earth, and vegetation, a body is formed. Is it not so? Yes. Out of that, where are you? I don't know where I am. Take a grain of sugar. The sugar is the essence of the sugar cane. It is sweetness only. You taste the sweetness of the sugar. You are not the sugar. What happens to that sweetness? Does it have a form? There's always the possibility. When the taste has disappeared, has it gone to heaven or hell? It did not go anywhere. It has merged into you. Earlier Maharaj spoke of the I amness arising from the elements. Do not the elements also arise from the I am? Yes, it is a vicious circle. Understand it and get out of it. If the food body is not present, you will be whatever you were before, when the food body is exhausted. Consciousness, the world, and this manifestation is an expression that you are. The sum total is, understand all this and do not try to interfere. All the prophets and social workers have come and gone. They could not change what is. This is the play of Maya. All this has happened out of nothingness, and it is going to the same state. This I amness is a product of the elements, and the I amness again creates the elements. So how are we to destroy that? You can't destroy it, you just have to go beyond it. I amness is part of the play. You are prior to the I amness. October 22nd, 1979. Who has made all the wonderful mechanical and technical inventions in this world today? The child has the potentiality of all this knowledge contained within his heart, and whatever material he wanted has been provided. by the live elements, but what he has created from it is as you see in the world today. That ignorance, which has come out of the mother's womb, gives birth to so much knowledge. Where did Arjuna see that great universal form which Sri Krishna showed him? He saw it in that atomic consciousness in his heart. Whoever acted as Krishna and Arjuna, you are. I like that. Are you prepared to take delivery of this statement? Yes. There is no separate God to propitiate and get things done according to our will. Without doing anything, you have the knowledge I am. Immense courage, heroism, and conviction that you are. That is Iswara. That is you. I am giving you instructions regarding your beginningless being, but you prefer to be in that monkey form. You are not prepared to leave that form. What is your object? What is your purpose? Your purpose is to retain your individuality, your personality, and to get all your needs satisfied. This one here is coming to me so that she and all her family will have good health. That is her whole object, not self-knowledge. The family will get this minor result, but this most important result, this ultimate, they will not get. In this world there are no beings that are born or living or dead. Nothing of the sort. It is just a play in consciousness. When people believe in God, what happens after death? They have a peaceful death. They see God coming and then they just vanish. What about the concepts of heaven and hell? Whatever concept one has will happen. How can the concepts survive without the food body? That I amness is not extinguished immediately. It is prolonged for some time in the form of subtle body. The physical shape is gone, but the desires contained in the subtle body are not dissolved. The consciousness endures so long as a particle of the food essence persists. Sri Krishna said, I have put these various beings on top of a machine of disillusion. They are mechanically going round. The mechanical motive force for the movement of all these beings is Maya. I am. I love. The nature of this love is greed, great liking, intense desire to be. How passionately fond of life we are. That is the primordial Maya. I love to be. It is the greatest of wonders that this principle has taken such a shape, but you are enjoying it and looking at it as I and limiting it to the body. Now we have to find out who is the principle which has taken this form. November 11th, 1979. People come to me and ask questions about Maharaj's teachings. How should I answer? If you know the answer, by all means give it, but don't consider yourself as someone superior. Should the person be only superficially interested, give an offhand answer. If there is real intent to understand, if the person is very concerned to know, discuss the question with him. Should you give correct knowledge to someone not really interested from the heart, it will damage him and others to whom he may talk. I don't know that I can explain the self. We perceive things, but we must understand that we are that principle which makes perception possible. Normally, any individual identifies himself with whatever he sees or perceives. You must understand the root cause of your being here. One's birth is basically associated with the womb, and that whole process must be clearly understood. Many who call themselves gurus have not really understood this. They go by the tradition of words. They hear something, and from there they proceed. But they do not go back to the root of the matter. There have been a number of prophets who have devised various religions according to their own ideas and concepts. These religions prescribe various codes of conduct. Do this, don't do that. With all these do's and don'ts, is there any change in the basic instincts of people? A Hindu throws a stone at a cow and the cow dies. Because of his religion, the Hindu thinks that he has committed a great sin. At the same time, people of other religions slaughter a cow and eat the meat. To them, there is no sin. The butcher and his family are quite happy and well off too. They are not affected by sin. The Hindu will perform conventional acts to expiate his sin. Don't go into these different conventional codes. Go to the root. Out of the womb of conception, out of the seed you are born. At the time of conception, your beingness is in a latent condition, and because of its presence, the formation of the body is taking place in the fetus. Are you that? You are not very steady mentally. Whenever I talk, I want you to go to the source. Instead, you go forward. You don't perceive the source. Can you ask questions? How was the first body made? Whether the first or the last, the process is identical. If there is no beginning, it means there is nothing. Nothing began, nothing ends. Here you will not get the reply of words. Dwell in the source. Stabilize there, and you will get a reply. Prakriti and Purusa, these two principles. Purusa means stationary. Prakriti is the movement. They have no body or form. We start right from space. Space is steady, and there is the movement of the air. Prakriti. So the Prakriti projections begin there. With the air and the sky, there is friction. And out of the friction, there is heat. And when this heat subsides, it oozes in the form of water. The water falls as rain. Where it settles, the earth formation takes place. And out of the earth, the sprouting of the vegetation occurs. It is all the play of Prakriti and Purusha. When it comes to the stage of the earth and vegetation, only the formation of bodies, forms, shapes takes place. Then various insects, animals, human beings are born. But all the formation is already decided in the space. The fate is already sealed in the space. There is the contact of Purusha and Prakriti in the space, and its final culmination is the creation of human bodies, animals, etc. There are 84 million species according to Hindu mythology. What makes the creation take place? It is not real, but in the realm of Maya it is real. Understand all this game and get out of it. If it is not real, why do we have to understand it? So you will understand how futile it is to have this shape. In the process of inquiry, you will see you are not any of that. One will be immediately liberated when one realizes, I have nothing to do with the affairs of Prakriti and Purusa. How can the life principle in the womb be I or my beingness? Your inquiry starts from the grosser state. That's why this I and mine question arises. Understand the whole process. In this universal process, are you really one of those illusions? How do we get out of the cycle? Are we not separate? You are there, and I am here. Understand that this is the universal play of Prakriti and Purusha. You are not that, and you are not in that. It is simple logic. Suppose a relative of yours dies and his body is cremated. Is the relative cremated? The dead body is cremated. He is not the body. The vital breath also left the body. He is not the vital breath. Suppose there has been an accident and hundreds of people are dead. You have heard that your dearest friend was involved, so you go to the scene and inquire. When you learn that your friend was not there, immediately you are happy and free from anxiety. Similarly, when you investigate this whole process, you will find that you are not in it. Then you are free from the cycle. There are so many attractions of the world and God. Why do you worry about the attractions of the world? Only when you are there, the world and God are there. Finally, what we must find out is what this beingness is due to. Once you understand that beingness is the product of the food essence, you know that you can't be that beingness. There is no object for meditation. Once one comes to the conclusion that there is nothing else except oneself, whom should he worship? That one is everything. Only one is there, but it is ample, many. You know it very well, but you have turned your back on it. Once one becomes a Yanni, he is one with the Absolute. But as far as the body is concerned, what happens to it than its behavior? Everything will be different from that of another Yanni. There is no design for a Yanni. He is not an individual. He is not concerned with how that body will act. What is the true prostration before a Yanni? You may think I am a Yanni, but from my point of view, whatever I see is just child's play. The whole thing, the existence of the world and the knowledge of the world is child's play. This child is 83 years old, and this is the play of that child's illusion. What is the game that is being played? The infant has been born, and the age belongs to that infant, not to me. Only 1 in 100,000 will really understand the knowledge which is given. Most won't give up their body sense. All these talks are like the play between a mother and child, just entertaining, but there is no real meaning to it. The child just lives in the present, for that moment. It has no anxiety and no responsibility. The same thing happens even if he is 83 years old. This consciousness which makes perception possible is Atma. That which is aware of the consciousness is Brahman. I speak every day on the same subject. The trouble is that when you hear something, you forget it.